back, everybody, to Let's Play Wario Land 4 for the Game Boy Advance. Last time we cleared the Emerald Passage and got a head start on the Ruby Passage, and today we are tackling the second level of the Ruby Passage, and that will be the current one we are in, known as the Toxic Landfill. So, you know how I mentioned in one of the previous videos where a big part of Wario Land's 4 level design is in its exploration and finding secret passageways? This level is that incarnate. Basically speaking, the goal isn't too terribly difficult to get to as far as like hazards and shit are concerned. The real challenge is going to be you as the player breaking through a lot of literal garbage to find a passageway forward, and on top of that, of course, they have the chests hidden within these locations. So, you're gonna have to pay a lot of careful attention to the camera if you want to find everything in this level, especially in the harder difficulties. Oh me, oh my. But anywho, a level like this wouldn't be complete without a bonus game. So this one here is about resource management. Basically, we want to take a few of these footballs here with us as we climb up these stairs, or blocks rather. And you basically want to keep them with you as you go. And voila! A diamond for the taking. Also, I just now realized that my GBA is low on battery, because even though this is an SP, using a game link cable for it won't necessarily charge it, despite it, you know, clearly being plugged into the GameCube. But, I digress. I won't lie though, like, I never really came to own an SP until, like, you know, I became an adult and I had enough money to spend money whenever I wanted to. And, yeah, I was stuck with, like, the wide GBA for most of my life. And, you know, that included not having the backlit screen and everything. And it was one of my fascinations with the GBA games as a result of that was taking a light and always finding these little hidden details within these levels that you normally wouldn't see. Because, like, the GBA games typically have a lighter resolution than most games, and that is because of that reason. I don't really know why the GBA didn't come with a backlit screen when the Game Boy Light did. But, on top of me finding the controller a lot more comfortable in comparison to the GBA SP, which feels kind of cramped in comparison because my hands are just really, really big. Like, to give you guys comparison, like, I wear a size 13 shoe. Like, I think that that kind of already gives it away, I think. But, like, it was funny always looking through the backgrounds whenever I got a chance to use, like, one of those backlit light things. Because, like, I had one of those things. I had, like, one of those little lamps that you would attach to your Game Boy Advance. And you'd turn on the light, and you'd see the screen. Like, you're not a true gamer unless you've experienced that at least once in your life, damn it. And, basically, like, seeing all of these, like, realistic-looking details and shit always fascinated me for, like, the strangest reasons. And I don't know why. I was really little, and, like, I would always find new ways to appreciate these games, like, the more I played them, because as I've stated, like, I only owned so many games when I was little. My birthday is right next to Christmas, so I didn't have many opportunities to own new games after all. But yeah, look at this background. Look at how grunge and realistic-ish it looks. It goes well with the vibe of this game, which is just uncanny and surreal. Like, again, like, you can certainly see the steps that this game is taking to really set itself apart for making way for the WarioWare games. This is definitely, like, out of every Wario platformer, and that includes Wario World and Smooth Moves, like, this is definitely the weirdest of the bunch, for sure, and, god damn it, I love it. I love it so much. I still get a funny kick out of this game's, like, level design, for sure, because it's just, It's so fucking bizarre, and like, there's something about it I love for that reason alone. Because of the fact that this game's level in particular is basically a treasure trove level because you're breaking shit and fighting hidden passageways, that is to say, without a doubt, that getting the high score in this level is pretty easy compared to other levels of its nature. We're talking about Wildflower Fields level of easy, if you know what you're doing anyway. God damn. Like, now that I think about it, like, I never questioned this when I was a kid, but, like, god damn, man. If I were to have played this at a later age when I had more comprehension of the world around me, like, I would have been so grossed out swimming in this filth. Like, look at this shit. This looks like something straight out of a goddamn toilet. And the colors of the water here and the atmosphere of this entire level doesn't offset that in any capacity. Like, goddamn, this level is so grunge and metal, and that is even more complete when you realize, like, the kind of track this level has. I love it. It's such an addictive earworm, but I love it all the same, goddammit. I love Wario Land 4! Ah! Like, yeah, I didn't play Wario Lands 2 and 3 until way later. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't touch Wario Lands, 2 and 3 until, like, let's see. I think I played Wario Land 2 when I was, like, 14 or 15. I found it at a garage sale or something, I don't remember. And then I didn't even come to own Wario Land 3 until I bought it off the 3DS Virtual Console. So I was already well into my 20s by the time that happened. That isn't to say I never knew about the game's existences either. Like, I remember, when I had Nintendo Power and access to it, like, I was subscribed to Nintendo Power since, I want to say, 99. I was like 5 around that time, right? And my grandparents basically ordered these magazines despite my parents not wanting me to get into that media junk. And, like, I would always read up about these games that looked fascinating to me, but I never got to own, so I had my own nostalgia with them in some kind of way. So I would make up for this by constantly rereading the sections. That would be my playthrough of the game, and then I would just imagine it in my head, and then I'd act it out with my my toys, because I owned a lot of Nintendo-themed toys. Like, I owned, like, some of the older Ocarina of Time themed toys. I owned a bunch of, like, Mario themed plushies. I owned a Wario plushie. If that tells you anything, and if you pressed their tummy, they would give you, like, a sound clip. Who remembers that, by the way? I think the brand name that made them is, like, Brady Toys or some shit. I could be totally wrong. But, like, I would enact these things in my head when I was little. And, that would be, like, my interpretation of these games. And it wasn't just that. Like, I would reenact Majora's Mask in my head. I would reenact the Battle Network games in my head. I would reenact Mario Tennis in my head. Because these were all games that I really wanted to own as a kid, but never got to until, like, way later. And then when I actually got around to playing some of these games, I actually ended up loving them more than I thought. Like, I know I didn't play Majora's Mask until I was, like, 12, and, like, I love that game to pieces. And it ended up being my favorite Zelda game, actually, despite having already played, Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker beforehand. So, like, even nostalgia doesn't have a complete effect on me, but, like, I don't know, like, Wario Land 4 has always, held a special place in my heart. Like, I remember, like, playing it so many years later. I would always find new ways to appreciate it. And, like, before I had access to the internet, obviously, there was always some fascination in doing shit like this, for example. That's why I love this level. This is actually one of my favorite levels in the game, by the way. I would always find these, like, little rooms, and, like, I would be like, oh god, look at all of this shit. There's so much hidden treasure that would make even fucking Metroid jealous. Like, Shit, dude, and I would constantly make memories because of that, because I always felt like there was something new to appreciate with Wario Land 4, and like, since I didn't have access to the internet, you know, having that fascination of finding all of these new things and taking these things for granted, it was a big defining point for me, man. And like, it's crazy that I still love this game even now. It's still really fun to play. It still feels really smooth, you know, despite me playing this on a GameCube, obviously, so I have a bit of latency. Cough, cough. But this game just means so much to me, man. Like, this is easily, like, for me personally, like, if I had to name one game I have the most nostalgic connection with, it would be this one, honestly. This is easily, like, one of my top 5 favorite video games ever. Despite not, like, I know, like, not all of my list is necessarily nostalgic based. Like, I know my second favorite video game of all time is actually, like, Xenoblade Chronicles, but I didn't come to play that until, like, I want to say 2018, well after it was released. And that game made me fall in love with turn-based RPGs again. Well, not even turn-based RPGs, but just JRPGs in general again, because, like, I had already played so many Tales and, like, Final Fantasy games at that point, but that I was struggling to find, like, a new JRPG to play and appreciate, and then Xenoblade comes along and goes above and beyond my expectations. But yeah, there's just games like this, for example, that, admittedly, like, I know I tried to criticize nostalgia a lot on this channel, but, like, this game for me personally, this game has still, you know, remained within my top 5, you know, all of my life. Even if I haven't played this game, you know, in years prior to my practice run. Coming back to this, I just had a big, goofy grin on my face, and oh boy. This is turning into a Clement Sonic 2 Let's Play, isn't it? Where instead of, like, trying to appreciate every single one of the game's strengths, I'm just like, no, I just love this game. I love this game. I love this game. I love this game. I fucking love this game. Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright, so the escape sequence here makes use out of Spring Wario a lot. This definitely makes it one of the most stressful ones, for sure, because you're never going to quite know where you land until you get up there, because you only have so much screen space to work with. And, won't lie, this is definitely one of the more tense runs. I remember I just said that for the Curious Factory, but I don't know, man. The Ruby Passageway, I think, definitely has, like, some of, like, the most tense, time rushes out of the game, for sure, because they have you doing all of these different things at once, and it can get kind of overwhelming. And on top of that, some of these sequences they put you through are deliberately slow, and they're there to just add unnerving tension. Holy shit. And how much treasure do I have? Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to... Oh boy, I'm gonna have to hurry. Because unfortunately for us, getting back to the entrance is just as slow as well. There's a lot of verticality to the escape sequence here, and that's mostly because a lot of what you're going to be doing, on top of breaking all of these blocks very slowly and awkwardly, unless you just bum rush it like I do, is going to be the fact that the exit, if you couldn't already tell, was in a pretty weird uplifted location. And on top of, you know, having to deal with the fact that you had to, like, ground pound that blue block from way high up, and you had to grab Keezer and not miss too many times, you have that to contend with as well. And, yeah, they find every way to make these things unnerving, for sure. But, luckily for us, we're pretty close to the end here. And yeah, if you're playing in harder difficulties, they actually add more of these spike head face-looking things, and you want to steer clear of those because those actually do put on additional damage that you don't want tacked onto yourself. But yeah, last chest is over there. Very, very easy to miss. And I wouldn't have survived this in super hard mode. Just saying that right here and now. I love this game so much. God damn it. Yeah, almost 20,000 coins. Jesus Christ. Probably not going to be hitting that kind of high score again until we hit, like, one of the later Sapphire Passageway levels, for sure. And you could get even more from those blocks we broke as, like, Spring Wario, so... That's something to mention, I guess. But here we are in 40 Below Bridge. Or Fridge. Did I really just call it a bridge? Well, let's bridge the awkward gap of misinformation by talking about this level now, shall we? I'm sorry. So, anyway, this level is pretty damn maze-like. Not too unlike the previous one we just went through earlier. The conveyors don't play a big part in this, though, but, in fact, basically, this actually revolves around a specific transformation we're going to be getting later. And this is actually one of the few levels where, the rooms actually kind of loop if you go out of bounds. So, like, basically speaking, you'll see in a moment, but, like, this is probably my favorite puzzle level in the game for sure. And that is specifically because of how this level bases its off-screen transitions around this puzzle. But this here is Snow Wario, and you're not going to be able to progress through most of the level unless you have this ability on hand. Watch out for the icicles. And Snow Wario here is going to be the ability we need to break those blocks wide open. And if you roll down slopes as Snow Wario, then that'll actually turn them into a snowball, and it'll be what you need to break open these passageways. Just thought I'd let my viewers know. It's not like anybody who's already watching this hasn't played this a bajillion times. Yum. But yeah, on top of its maze-like structure and having the whole level built around Snow Wario, you have rooms like these where it's encouraged that you explore these rooms all the way through if you want to find all of the treasure within. In fact, speaking of which, can't forget about that now. I was trying to pick that up. Thank you very much. Oh wow, got that in the first try too. A lot of spear masks roaming about in here too. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like, in the harder difficulties, like, they certainly have a big infatuation with the spear mask everywhere. And, I don't know, always found that the most curious thing. They are the enemies most likely to hurt you after all, I guess, so maybe that's why. But, nonetheless, they are nothing within my boots. So long as I trample them before they are given the chance to strike. Ah, I thought you transformed. What the fuck? Come on, buddy. Okay, that should be the exit, but we need to come over here to get that chest, because forgetting about it wouldn't be too good now, wouldn't it? Okay, so... Alright. I see you, game. I already got a full life meter already. Well, I suppose getting the highest score in this level shouldn't be too difficult then, huh? I love this game so much that I was a part of Awana. It's basically kind of like this Boy Scouts thing that we did at my old church, except it was for like Christians. And we would do this game where it's kind of like baseball, except we'd use beanie bags. I guess they didn't want anybody getting hurt, I guess, not looking at that in retrospect. But anytime I would dash to the bases, I would always do it with the fucking animation Wario is doing here right now. Everybody kind of knew me for that, if not notoriously. Oh boy. God, I was such a stupid fucking kid. But yeah, this is what I was talking about here. If you clip out of bounds here, the room actually kind of loops here, and the puzzles around this said level are based around that said fact. Oh, of course. Of course. Fuck you. That was the biggest fuck you this game's given me so far. Ah. Yeah, these things, they don't necessarily hurt you, but like getting frozen is not really good for anybody unless you're playing a bonus game, and it just wastes so much time. This game has Wario Land 3 written all over the stage for sure. It definitely feels like a remnant of like Wario Land 3's level design too, considering that game is... I mean, like, they're both puzzle platformers, yeah, but I'd say, like, without a doubt that because of the way Wario's, you know, health system was handled, like, that game was definitely more puzzle-based than this one, for sure. I don't know, I wasn't, you know, playing Wario Land 3, maybe it's because of just, like, how much attachment I have to, like, you know, say Wario Lands 4 and 1, for example, even 2. I like 2 a lot. But, I don't know, I wasn't super big into Wario Land 3, actually. It was filled with a lot of pointless backtracking, I think. And I'm not typically against backtracking unless, like, you can either make shortcuts along the way or, like, there's a reason to do it. Like, say, in Metroid Prime 2, you would do it to pick up extra expansions, for instance, or extra upgrades. It's gotta have backtracking with purpose, you know? And, like, I always found the levels kind of repetitive. Not all of them, but some of them, because it felt like, in some cases, I had to repeat a lot of the same beats for whatever reason, regardless of what treasure chest I was going after. And I don't know, I always found that kind of annoying, and it made Wario Land 3 kind of draining on me after a while. And that isn't to say I didn't like the game, but I don't know. Maybe that there is nostalgia messing me up, for sure. But, oh yeah, speaking of bonus games that utilize Frozen Wario, here we are. Whoops. I didn't think we'd run into one so soon, but... Huzzah. And now, you have served your purpose, good sir. Oh wow, I just now realized you can't actually complete this minigame if you end up killing them too early, huh? But yeah, this room, on top of utilizing Snow Wario, you also have to utilize Rolling Wario as well if you want to get into these hidden crevices, and they definitely take a lot of precision and careful positioning if you want to get into these nooks and crannies. So jump right here, grab yourself a diamond for good measure, and I jumped for no reason. I swear, sometimes I buffer an extra short hop even though I don't need to. And, oh, well, that messed me up. Well, I'm not too far from the high score, so I guess that's not too much of a concern moving forward in the rest of this level, that is. So, let's see here. What did I miss? Not much, it looks like. Just a few extra coins. Good, good, good. Oh, I see. Pretty clever game. Pretty clever. In fact, that's not what we need to do at all. In fact, I always found the sound effect for whenever you're sliding around on ice really, really annoying for some reason. It was always like one of my biggest pet peeves in Wario Land 4. It's not even something that should be worthy of being a pet peeve, but yet it's a pet peeve to me anyway. This game has just been nostalgia overload for me so far. Oh my goodness. Perhaps I shouldn't have done that early? Yeah, let's go back. Alright. Oh, I see. I see. Sweet. Alright. So I need to do a bit more hipping and hopping and scooting around so I can hit that pair of blocks down there. Can I make it? Barely. Ow. Still an interesting take on an ice level, though. I would have thought to actually make an entire level within a freezer of all things. Again, it's taking, like, even though this may be an elemental ice level, the game's still doing something interesting with it, you know? They could have gone with the basic foresting, for example, but instead they use that as an opportunity to turn it into a honeybee-infested flower field. Oh no! Oh shit, I should have went back there and broke that block. Ah, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Ugh. Well, we have a lot of time to work with, so let's not muck it up by getting fucked by these things. These things are going to be the bane of your existence through this escape sequence, and that is because of that. And on top of that, there's this one annoying section climbing up where you're going to have to deal with a lot of them climbing up a ladder. And if you get hit by one, well, your ass might as well be as good as dead because it's going to send you to the bottommost part of the thing. It's a little bit annoying. So this is probably, in my opinion, like one of the most annoying escape sequences in the game for sure. And that's primarily just because these dudes exist. I swear, it's like the second you get within their line of sight, they just do that, and it's like, it turns less into a reaction skill and more into an anticipation game, and it makes contending with them very, very annoying. Oh, Jesus Christ, of course. Oh well, at least I got rid of those things. So yeah, here's the real annoying part here. And there's even more of these fuckwads in hard mode, or super hard mode, for that matter. So, I think there's only one of them in normal. I could be wrong. Oh, God. This is not... Get out of my way. Jesus Christ. Alright, so... I gotta go back and break that stupid block. Ugh. Now, to dash like a maniac. I wonder if it's actually possible to land on those platforms as you're falling down. I feel like at some point I might have been able to do that, but my memory could also be kind of icky, and, well, it may serve to work against me in this portion, I guess. Alright, so we're making good time, at least compared to the other levels we've done so far. Oh boy. Oh, of course! That's why I hate that section so much, because, like, they don't seem to be entirely within sync of each other when they're turning around. So there's always at least that one dude that's just gonna fuck everything up. Ugh. Yeah, like I said, you have to do this whole thing all over again. But at least one of them is dead, so that's one less worry off of our back. So that's one thing you can at least look forward to if you're ever having to repeat that portion. I don't want to get hit by that, thank you very much. Oh man, imagine if I did and I had to climb all the way back up there a third time. Oi! Man, that was a big level. Remember that? We have everything. And on top of that, we got a decent high score. Awesome. Definitely have to really explore that place to its fullest if you want to get the high score for sure. Oh, Jesus. And with that, we have one last level to go. And this one is not one I'm a super big fan of, but we'll save that discussion for the next video. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in part... What is it now? 6? Okay then. See you guys in part 6.